on escaping the mount, okay? All right, so the first lesson that we did of escaping the mount, where if I have John on top of me, okay, let's say he's just pinning my my chest to the floor, or maybe he's trying to choke me, right? Whatever is happening here. Okay, so he has his arms exposed, his posture is high. So the trap and roll technique that we did in one of our first lessons really works well when the person's postured up and bearing their weight on top of you like this, okay? So you guys remember our first lesson with the trap and roll? Okay, so that's not always going to be the case. A lot of times he's going to be low and based out wide. You see this, right? So I don't have the option of trapping and roll, okay? Maybe I try to trap his arm and then he swims it inside, right? Like we've learned how to retain the mount. Okay, so I've lost that option to come on top. So I have to have another option, okay? So let's try to just get a better position than mount. Maybe not on top, but a little bit better. Okay, so from here, the next best position I could probably be in is going to be in half guard. Okay, so let's work on that. All right, so let's work on getting from mount to half guard, and then we can go from there. Okay, so John, just posture up just so everybody can see. Okay, so now what I want to think of is a couple things. First thing I need is my feet on the ground. Okay, if you have your feet in the air trying to like use your feet to hook his arm or hook his chest or something like that, like some people you'll see this kind of stuff happening. Like it's not very high percentage. You're gonna get people that are really flexible and long legs that are gonna do it on you. But once you're aware of that, it's usually pretty easy to shut those off. Okay, if John keeps his elbows relatively like tight and I try to bring this arm around, it's really easy for him to shuck it off. Okay, so it's not a very high percentage technique. Okay, so let's try to refrain from having our feet not on the ground. Okay, so feet on the ground. I want to have my feet inside of his. Okay, feet outside of his. He's going to be able to grapevine. He's going to be able to cross his ankles and secure my hips a little bit better. Okay, so let's always try to fight for our feet inside, and that could be a battle in itself. Just the foot battle, fighting it for the inside position. Okay, so I got my feet on the ground now. Now I want to work on my hands in the mount position that he's in. If John's in a super high mount right here, I'm not in a very good spot to start escaping. Okay, I need to improve my position a little bit better. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to try to get my elbows to my ribs, but his knees are in the way. So I'm going to use like my forearms and my armpit area, and I'm going to shoulder walk backwards as I push down with my arms. So I'm going to just, boom. Okay, so I'm not trying to move him down. I'm just creating a little bit of a frame with my forearms so that he can't like get higher and higher into a mount. So I'm in like a low mount position where my knees are a little closer to his hips. So I have to make a smaller movement to get my knees inside. So that's what I want. So this is the best case scenario to start with. He's in a low mount. I got my feet inside of his, and now I'm good with the lower half of my body. Okay, let's talk about our frames. I need to establish frames. All right, so now if I move without frames, he's just going to keep following me. So I need to create a frame that stops his movement. All right, so here's one way that I like to do it. If John postures up, so I like to take one frame and I'm going to put it across his hip line. Just like where his belt is or where the logo of the grappling shorts are sometimes, boom. Nice strong pinky out. Okay, so that's the first one. Come back down. So that's strong. Okay, that's going to prevent him from coming into a high mount. Right, so I got a nice strong frame right here. Not going to prevent him forever, but right, it slows the process down. So I got a good frame parallel to his hip line, and then the other one is going to come overlap the initial frame, and then I want to try to get my elbow inside of his knee as best I can. Okay, and that can be a fight. Okay, I make little micro adjustments to get that elbow inside. That's what I want. Okay, so I got this like more or less L-shaped frame right here. All right, so that's where we're going to start. Now the movement, I want to drop the same side leg as the frame is on. So right here. All right, nice and dead to the floor. Okay, I don't want any space for him to be able to maybe hook his foot underneath my leg. Yeah. So when I drop that dead leg, I want to really make it dead. It's just gonna be there for a half a second until when I start moving. Okay, it's not gonna just stay there dead the whole time. So now, right, I want to get to my hip. So I'm using the foot, that's the power leg, and I want to bump as best I possibly can. You can add a little bit of dynamic to it if the person's really, really big, right? So I want to bump and turn to my side. Okay, see what happened there? If his knee comes up off the ground and I continue to move my butt backwards, I can get my knee inside and I can start to re-guard this way. Okay, so I got my shin inside, that's great. Boom, I can go from here, kind of like a modified half guard where I have the shin in between. That's even better than half guard in my opinion. This is the game that I play, like butterfly half guard. Okay, but as long as there's something in between me and John that's not allowing him to mount me, that's all I'm trying to do. Okay, so it could be a variety of different positions, but all I'm trying to do is get a shin in front of me and John. So let's say he's back here. Another way it happens is I'm here, I turn to the hip. Now I want to lift my hip off the ground into his, and I want to make space. You see that? See that little space that I've made with the frame and my hip bump underneath his knee? Now it's very easy for me to retract my knee through and start to circle back into John, and now I'm in this traditional half guard position. Okay, where I'm pinching my knees together and I'm trapping his leg. Okay, we have to make sure that we're pinching right here. Okay, because if I'm not pinching with my knees and I go to try to get to, like, say, let's say full guard, and I open my legs, what he's going to do, he's just going to drive his knee right back to the mouth. Whoop, and now I've lost everything that I just worked for. Okay, so when we're going into like half guard position, making sure that we're pinching with our knees, okay, so that way he can't just easily remount us. So that's the first escape, just a half guard. We'll get to full mount, or excuse me, we'll get to full guard after. So we're gonna start in a high mount, right? John's got my arms all bow tied up, so I'm gonna drive my arms into his into his thighs. I'm gonna walk myself back to a low mount. Get my feet where I need them. I can feel his feet inside of mine, or my feet are inside of his. I establish my frames, drop my dead leg, start to make the angle by bumping and shrimping, right here. Now I do another big bump and bridge, and I want to get a little bit of space underneath his knee. That's it. You see how my knee starts to come through already? Boom. Once it comes through, I use my feet to walk my hips out and face him. Notice I still have the frame. Get my underhook, get an overhook, whatever we want to do from here will depend on his reaction after I started to escape. But now I'm already out. I'm out of mount, which is good. And then I can start being offensive perhaps. Okay, so let's just get from a high mount to half guard. High mount, no good. Start to move my way back. All right, establish my frames, get my feet inside, drop my dead leg. This can all happen in one movement. I can bump, turn, and frame. There it is. Turn back into him, pinch my knees together, and then I can start to work from here, whatever I decide. Okay, let's give it a shot. That's it. Okay, time. Let's go. Let's look at it again. All right, it's pretty good. Okay, for the first time we've looked at it, it's pretty good. Okay, so making sure that this leg stays down is very important. Okay, because I just want to lift his leg and knee up just a little bit in order to fit my knee underneath it. Okay, if my knee is pointing to the ceiling, right, I have to try to get his knee up over mine. Okay, so the lower I can keep my knee the whole time, right? See how my knee is just dragging across the floor? Okay, it's never pointing upward at any kind of angle. You see how it runs into his hamstring? All I need to do is just lift his hip just a little bit. But I have to stay on my hip so that my knee can glide across the floor. Okay, the more flat I am on my back, the knee is harder to get through, right? If I have the flexibility, I can really open my knee and come underneath like this. But look how my knees are all opened up. I'm not very structurally anatomy strong, right? So the closer I can keep my knees together, see how my knees are tight, the stronger I'm gonna be for my follow-up half guard. Okay? And in any case, all I'm trying to do is make space in between John's knees. Okay, that's the basic principle. However I can make space between John's knees and fit a shin or a foot in front of it, that's all I need before, to escape the mount. Okay, so don't worry too much about it's exactly cookie cutter the way I'm showing it. The basic idea is creating a frame, getting some kind of a dead leg so I know which way I have to shrimp, okay, making my certain angle, and then creating the space that I need. Okay, maybe I get enough space in between John's knees to keep yeah, right there. See, maybe I kind of went underneath his knee. I didn't really go underneath this way. I kind of went in between his thigh area. Okay, so again, it doesn't really matter too much exactly how it gets done, as long as you're creating a frame, making space, and getting a knee inside. Okay, from here, a lot of people are going like this and hooking. All right, it's not really necessary because I still have this frame. So instead, once I get this knee free, I'm gonna walk my hips and face him. And now from here, I can grab. Okay, notice how my knees, again, they're staying closer together as opposed to this. See how far my knees are apart? It's not actually a very good hook. My frame is still doing the job right here. Okay, so instead, once this knee comes through, I'm gonna circle and face the person and see how my knees are closer together, and now I can pinch. Okay, this right here is it's a fake control point. There's really no control right here. The second I let go of that frame, John's gonna slide right back up, okay? But if I go here, now I can pinch, now that's control. That leg is trapped, okay? So just maintain your frame, circle, circle, circle towards him, and then I can use my legs to wrap, all right? Just another minute or so, just keep repping it out. We're gonna do a variation. Okay, time. Okay, now another variation, okay? We're just getting to half guard. Again, I want a couple of different options on how to escape mount to half guard. And then again, from there, there's a lot of different games you can play from half guard, or we can go to full mount, or excuse me, or we can go to full guard, okay, which is what we're gonna do after. I wanna do a couple of variations on how to escape the mount. So now again, I got John here. I do everything the same, okay? He's in high mount, okay? I work my way to a low mount, I establish my frames, I get my feet inside, okay? I'm able to get to my hip, but I'm just not able to make the space that I want to, okay? I'm not able to move his knee at all, okay? I'm not able to do this. I'm not able to lift his hip off the ground in order to get my leg underneath, okay? Maybe he's being really, really strong with this leg. So here's what I'm gonna do. Because I'm on my side, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use my knee and drive it into his ankle. See what happens? Okay, even if he keeps his foot on the ground, right, all I'm doing is I'm working to tweak his ankle out in relative to his knee. Right, you guys see what I'm doing here? Now what I'm going to do with this leg, because I'm on my side, it's easy to use this foot and trap his ankle. Okay? If he's doing a really good job of keeping his foot flat, I want to use my heel and I want to dig it into that little instep right there. Even if the person keeps his foot really flat, there's usually like a little space right here, if you can see it. You know? I want to drive, I'm going to get my knee, or excuse me, my heel right into that spot. Right? It's still maintaining the frames this whole time, right? I'm going to pull it in and trap it. Pinching my knees together with my feet digging to the ground, okay? Now I can use my bottom leg as like a good lever point, because if you notice, it's in the middle of his shin bone right here. So it's a really good like center point to lever on top of it. So now this leg's on top. I got both my feet to the floor. Watch, I'm gonna turn my hips and square, just like we did when we cleared our knee, right? So watch what happens when I square my hips off the ground. His knee lifts up, okay? Still have my feet on the ground. Now I'm gonna move my hips away so that his knee drops to the floor. Okay, if I let go of his legs, he's just gonna remount me. I don't want that. So after I've trapped that ankle, and I turn my knee here, look at, that's all the space that I need. Now I'm gonna continue that shrimp to the left, and I'm gonna shove his knee into the half guard. And now I'm in the same position that we just finished. Okay, so it's just another way to escape the full mount. So he's here, he's high mount, excuse me. Walk my hips back, get my frames, dead leg. All right, get to my side. I'm not able to lift and get that space underneath it. So I'm gonna open his shin, trap it, and look, here's the motion right there. A lot of things I can do from here, okay? If I wanna play a certain game, but we're all getting to half guard. So now I'm starting to walk my hips away, and I wanna shove his knee into half guard. And then from here I can play whatever I decide to do. Once his knee's in half guard, now I can start to open up and explore and do whatever I wanna do from there. Okay, so let's try that option. Good. Okay, so we've gotten to half guard now. Okay, however we're able to escape our hip, whether it be the first option or the second option, we're able to get to half guard. Okay, now we can build from there. Okay, what do we want to do from there? So so we're all doing the same. Let's just work to get back to our full guard position. Okay? Again, we're not able to get on top. Okay, let's just understand that is out of the question for whatever reason. If I can get to half guard and I can come on top and sweep him, great. But let's say that option isn't presenting itself. So we have to get to full guard so that we can attack the most efficiently. So we're here, I get to low mount, I'm able to establish my frames, get my feet inside. However I get here, okay? So I got half guard, okay? Orientation of my feet could be a lot of different ways, like this. I can have one leg inside of his. There's a lot of different orientations of my feet, okay? But that doesn't matter as much as pinching with my knees. Okay, pinching with my knees is what's controlling the half guard. So it doesn't matter where my feet are, as long as my knees are pinched, that's the important thing of half guard, okay? So from here, I like to get the underhook, Okay, I like to be under his armpit, and I like to wrap around his waist or his hip bone right here. Okay, I like to keep my head nice and tight to his chest from here. Okay, that'll give me options of doing a few things. Okay, I can use this underhook to help pull me out underneath, and I can come out the back door, and I can take his back. Okay, depending on how he reacts. But we're all getting to full guard. So we're here, I got my underhook. Okay, now I gotta get this right knee, because this left knee is already out. It's out of the guard. Okay, this right knee is still stuck. Okay, so if maybe he's pinching, yeah, so maybe that knee is being tight right there. So I can't just pull that leg out. Okay, so I know that this leg is trapped, so I have to make a frame now in front of that other knee that's pinching. Okay, so now that I have a frame right here, I can use my foot, I can shrimp away, making space, and now my knee can come through, and I can start to square back up to the person. Okay, outside leg comes up over the top, and it's starting my false guard. Okay, so this is like the first part of the full guard. Now I still gotta get this foot out. It's still trapped right here. Okay, a lot of the people that have the flexibility, they can just bring their knee out, and they can get their full guard. Okay, but a lot of people aren't that flexible. So what's gonna happen right here? Watch. I'm gonna put my foot on the ground that's trapped, and I'm gonna shrimp to that side. Now the foot comes out. And then I can use it to pull myself back into full guard, and then I can work from here, attack, whatever. Okay? So we're just getting to full guard from the full mount. So here he's in high mount, right? I work my way to low mount, establish my frames, get my feet inside, get to my hip, escape to half guard. Okay, from here, I get my underhook nice and strong. I frame off the knee. I can use my elbow or I can use my hand. As long as I'm keeping my elbow tight to my body. I don't want to do it like this. See how my elbow's far out? I'm pushing on his knee with my elbow poking out. It's a natural hook for the person that they can strip it away. So if I'm ever using my hand to push a frame, I want to make sure that my elbow is inside nice and tight, tucked in. See, now I can use that frame to push off his knee, shrimp, make the space I need to get that knee through. And now we're squared up here. Again, maybe he's jamming this foot up. Yeah, see how that foot is tight? I can't just pull it out. So now I make space. I move my hip from here to where his hand is. Maybe I do it again. As many times as I need to feel like that foot can come out, I do it. Okay? And then I'm back into full guard. All right, any questions? Let's give it a shot.